Well, good day, everyone. So today in this video, we're going to talk about the very basics of getting started with low content publishing. In the last video, we did a brief overview of what low content publishing is, or publishing books in general on KDP. And in this video, we're going to go over the very basics of getting started with it, the things that you need to learn to be able to create your first book. So when it comes to using Kindle, you have two things. You have your cover and you have your interior. So if we look at this electrician journal that we checked out in the last video, this is their cover. It just says My Electrician Journal. It's got a sloth reading a book, and it's got a bunch of blank lines inside of it, right? So we've got two pieces, two files, so two pieces to this puzzle. You have a cover and you have an interior. So where do we get the stuff that we need for this? So Kindle actually provides us with some awesome templates to get started with. We'll get into this in a second. So let's just look up KDP template interior in Google real fast. And go get them, Google. Paperback Manuscript templates by Amazon KDP. Look at that. So here we go. They'll give you an overview of what an interior is. But what I'm here for is the templates. These are all in like a document format, so you would open it with Google Docs or Microsoft Word. And once you download the file, you get access to all these different sizes. So you need to first decide what size book do you want. The most common book size in the United States is 6x9. So I recommend you go to Barnes & Noble or a bookstore of some kind and pick up different paperback books. And because remember, we only can do paperback. So pick up different paperback books and their sizes. Even look at your competition of what kind of book you're going to create. We'll get into niche selection and book selection in the next video, but that way you can decide what size book you want to do. 8.5 by 11, again, that's another standard, or 8 by 10 is another standard. But typically, like for me, I stick to 6x9. That seems to be the standard US size. Okay. And we can just go ahead and download the blank templates. They have templates with content in them. It's just a bunch of random letters. It doesn't really help you with anything, in my opinion. So we can download our blank templates. When we download our blank templates, we click on it and it will extract them all into the zip file and open it up. And we end up with a bunch of different files inside that zip file. We have different languages. So let's go with English, and that will unzip, and then we'll have all of our English sized templates. So this is all interior templates in Word document format. So we could grab like the 6x9 Word document and let that open.
All right, so we got our 6x9 template open here in Word. And it's just like any other Word document. It's just already set up for the ruler guidelines and all that kind of stuff of the printable area and everything. So they've already got that all taken care of for us, which is really awesome. So let's say that this is our book and we want to make a blank line journal. So we might start with going into the center and making our font a little bit bigger. Let's say 29, not 260, 28. And let's just call this blank line journal. And by, I don't know, Tom H. Wellington, if that is our pen name. I don't know. Check your pen names, make sure no one else has them first. And then just like creating any other good Word document, we go to our next page. And let's say you want to make blank lines. You can do tons of tutorials online for Word. The simplest and easiest way to do it is to insert a table. And we insert our table that is one column and a bunch of rows. We can highlight all of these and we can just say that we want to insert more of them. So we can make more rows, boom, and make it bigger. But these lines might be too tight together, right? So let's add a few more together. Oh, we didn't want to do that. So we'll undo that. Let's add a few more rows, well, not columns, rows. Insert rows here. I'm having a hard time clicking today. There we go. and we make a few more rows, and then we could grab the corner here, and we could just stretch it down and make it the size of the page before we go off the page, right to the bottom there. And we have our blank lines. In this case, we could right click on it and we could look at our properties, and we could find out that each row is 0.36 inches in height. So you could go online, you could find out what ruling you want to use, what line height you want to have to be most optimal for the type of journal in the market that you are targeting. We can right click on this and we can go to borders and shading. Inside of here is where we will get rid of some of the excess lines that we don't want. So we don't want the top line, we don't want the right or the left lines. And we can go ahead and hit OK. And we go ahead and now have our blank lines. Okay, so we got our lines put together and we're able to get rid of all the other things on the side and whatnot. So if you want to add more pages to this, all you can do is highlight it, copy, go to the next page, paste it, next page, paste it, next page, paste it. That's it. Wash, rinse, repeat. You sit here and you do that, you're going to have yourself a really long blank line notebook in no time. So here we are, just copy and paste it, enter, enter, enter. We can wash, I got a little bit out of control there. And we get as long as we want. So the length now is very important. You need to know how many pages you're going to have in your blank line notebook. Let's say you're going to have 100. That matters because we're going to end up doing our cover, knowing how thick we need the cover spine to be. So that plays a great deal into it. So we saw that we were able to download those awesome templates from KDP. Well, guess what? We can do that same thing with the cover. So if we go and we look for KDP cover template, guess what's going to pop right up? Cover templates. And we go here and we tell them that we want 130 pages and what our trim size is. So let's say our trim size is that 6x9 and white paper. White paper is thinner than cream paper. That's why it matters. And you hit download cover template. Once you have that downloaded, you can just go ahead and find that file wherever you saved it. In our case, I have it saved right here, and I can just go ahead and open that up in our design software. So a note about design software. To do the interiors, you could do it in Microsoft Word, as you saw. That's like the very basic place where we can do it. But more professionally, it would be done in something like Affinity Publisher, okay, or InDesign Studio by Adobe, okay, or if so, that's for interiors. Those make really nice interiors. That's what Publisher is for making magazine interiors, being able to put someone's picture and getting the text around the arm and doing all that cool stuff. That it's pretty difficult to do that sort of in-depth stuff in Word. So Word is great for like those blank line journals and maybe a guest book or something like that. But beyond that, when you start getting into planners and other low content things, you're definitely going to up your skill level by using Publisher software. The other thing that you would want is a design software. So to do covers, you really need to be using some sort of design software like Affinity Designer or Adobe Creative Cloud. You're able to get Illustrator, you're able to get InDesign, Photoshop, Premiere Pro for video editing, all this fun stuff, but it's expensive. You gotta be, you're gonna be shelling out $53 a month. If you're a student though, $20 a month, pretty cheap. Or a teacher. So that's pretty cool. But if you're just, not a student or a teacher, you're going to be spending like $53 a month. That's where Affinity Designer, Affinity Publisher are much more affordable. I think they're like $50 a piece. Yeah, so $50. They have a free trial, so definitely check it out. It's affinity.serif.com, or just type in Affinity Designer in Google. And you're able to then get the free trial. But $50, you own the software. That's a good investment right there if you're going to be trying to go after this low content game and make some money doing it. There are some people that use an online software called Canva. Go there and see that Canva lets you build presentations, posters, flyers, social media things. It's really good. I use it for making postcards and business cards and stuff like that. I haven't tried it yet to make a cover for Kindle, so I'll definitely try that out and maybe make a video on it. But for my purposes here, for this video, I use Illustrator. So this is that template that we just downloaded from Amazon. The red area is like your danger zone. That's going to get cut. So you got to fill it in. It's going to have something there, but chances are it's going to get cut. So you don't want to put anything important there. The right side, this is your front. The left side, this is your back, and this is then your spine. So that's why you got to know how long your book's going to be before you make the cover, because this width gets bigger or smaller depending on how many pages you have. You can put your title on the spine. I don't do that. It's so small, I don't think it really matters. If you had a really big book, like a 600-page book, yeah, fill that in. Put some stuff in there. Here, barcode location, right? So this is where the barcode's going to go. So whatever you put there is going to get overridden. So don't put any graphics there. But basically, you need to make a quick cover. So quick covers, this is something you're going to want to take your time to learn how to use a software like this. But we're going to make a new layer, in my case here. And I'm going to draw a path with a rectangle tool. I am not very good at this either, but I have fun with it. And that is white. I can change the color by double clicking on here. It brings up the color picker tool, and I can go to, like, I don't know, let's say that we want it to be a blue. Maybe I want to have like a bluish background. It's maybe more purple. I don't know, what do you think it is? And then you can grab your text tool and you could just say, we do that, and it puts in some whatever random blank text. Go to properties. We're going to make our font bigger, like 48. And we'll just say my awesome journal. I didn't keep it at 48. My awesome journal. Obviously, you can't see parts of it. So you're going to want to take some tutorials on whatever software you decide to use so that you can master making kind of fun things for it. And then you want to put some graphics. We'll go into a whole thing on that, but there's like, you want to read the licensing on these before you use them to make sure that you're allowed to use them. But let's say that we want to put, a really cool picture of some fishing hooks, because this is going to be a fishing journal. We can click on it, and it's licensed as public domain. We can open up and read the license. It says Creative Commons Universal, no copyright. The person who associated a work with this deed has dedicated the work to the public domain by waiving all his or her rights. You can copy, modify, distribute, perform, even for commercial purposes without asking permission. All right, so that's really key right there. It's just free to use. Okay, there's no patent, no trademark. Someone just made it, to let other people use it for what they're doing. So we can download that vector and open it up and unpack it, and we can open it up. Again, read your licenses, make sure you're allowed to use this stuff before you use it. And then we can open up the file. Open up the file. Where did it go? Oh, it was still unpacking, I guess. There's my hooks, right? I can grab them, I can copy them, I can paste them, I can bring them in, and then I've got like this awesome, hooks on my journal. But wait, is it in the lines? Well, I can just go ahead and go to my rectangle path, unhide my rectangle path, and see, all right, now I need to align this better to the center. I need to align this better to the center. Right? And then I can put my color back, and now I've got this pretty cool cover really fast. Again, it all depends on what audience you're trying to speak to. So anyway, then when you're done with it, you need to save it in a format that they like. The PDF that they send you down is actually in a format they already like, so you really don't have to do much to it, other than making sure your layers are not transparent so that you can see all that stuff. I usually leave it there when I'm done, and I save it, and I'll just upload that. So now you've got a cover, you've got an interior, okay? And that's really the rundown of what you're going to do to make your Kindle book. You need to be able to be comfortable using Word if you're doing something really basic, or if you're going to go down another alley with more complicated interiors. Definitely look into something like Affinity Publisher, and also something like Affinity Designer to make, not Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer to be able to make awesome cover art, or Adobe Illustrator to make awesome cover art. And then the publisher will help you do the insights. So that's a really quick overview of the process we'd go to create our book and our interior and stuff, and what you would do to get it to go up into Amazon. So we're going to talk about finding niches and keywords and deciding what books we want to make in our next video.